I think OpenAI just introduced their most disruptive features since introducing ChatGPT during their dev day today. And this could change the way that we think about the economics of the internet. Aggregation, which has been the power behind companies like Booking.com, Spotify, Zillow, Netflix, could be breaking down and could be moving from those applications to ChatGPT. And ironically, the companies that OpenAI is potentially disrupting are their key suppliers. So let's get into how apps could impact a lot of the biggest companies in the world today. My name is Travis Hoium. Thanks for watching Asymmetric Investing. Please subscribe here on YouTube for all my content. And if you want more from me, check out Asymmetric Investing. There's a link on the screen and a link in the show notes. That's where I'm building a market-beating portfolio from zero. I buy stocks once a month and put the principles that I talk about a lot here on Asymmetric Investing to work. So let's talk about one of those that I talk about all the time, and that is aggregation. This is a concept that was really popularized by Ben Thompson in aggregation theory. And the entire idea of aggregation is that the point of power on the internet is the company that owns demand. Over this past century, prior to the internet, the companies that owned supply were actually the points of power. We knew these as brands, but it was really advertising power and distribution power, and that combination that gave them as much power as they had in the market. We didn't have as many options in the grocery store, in retail stores in the 80s or 90s as you have online today. So on the internet, there's an infinite amount of supply. So who controls the market? It's the companies that have the eyeballs, the demand. That is what aggregation is all about. And a lot of the companies that I've invested in with asymmetric investing are the owners of that demand. And that's why the app announcement that they had today, which I'm showing the blog post that they put up, but there's a whole presentation that I will put in the show notes that really explains how they're thinking about applications in ChatGPT. All of this lives within ChatGPT. So the reason this could potentially be really disruptive is instead of going to each of these applications individually, you could just be opening up ChatGPT and then interacting with applications within ChatGPT. This is very different than pulling out your iPhone and then opening up an app. You're opening up the ChatGPT app. So what is this going to look like? And this is some of the suppliers that they have today: Booking.com, Canva, Coursera, Expedia, Figma, Spotify, and Zillow. So let's look at the travel ones, because I think these are the most interesting. If you're going traveling, the power of Booking.com's business is that you're going to Booking.com. You're not looking for a Booking.com hotel. There's a whole bunch of different suppliers that then supply their website. And Booking.com connects that demand with supply. But if you're going to ChatGPT to book a hotel room, that power now moves from Booking.com to ChatGPT. Now maybe you go, you can call out specifically with these applications, Booking.com, but it isn't necessary for you to do that. You may just ask ChatGPT to find you a hotel room. Maybe you give it the city, maybe you give it a budget, maybe some features, and maybe it will pull that information from Booking.com. Maybe it'll pull it from hotel websites directly. But the point is, the application you are interacting with is ChatGPT, and Booking.com is just kind of a plugin into ChatGPT. The power now moves from Booking.com, the application that you open up on your phone, to ChatGPT. So the fact that Expedia and Booking.com are two of their launch partners, I think just shows you how much of a commodity this would be. The other company that I should bring in here is Airbnb. Airbnb is another company that could plug into this. But again, you're not going to Airbnb, you're going to ChatGPT. So the power in the market moves from these companies that are the aggregators of demand to ChatGPT and OpenAI. A couple of other interesting ones to think about: Spotify. Okay, maybe this is an easier way to make a playlist. For example, I don't think this is necessarily a great use case for ChatGPT. If I'm in ChatGPT, not really thinking about music, that's more of a background source. So this one will be interesting to watch. One that I am also interested in is Zillow. Zillow pulls a ton of information. So it's a little bit different than some of these aggregators like Booking and Expedia, because they're just pulling commodity supply. They're pulling a lot of information. But does ChatGPT become a different distribution source, or does it commoditize Zillow? That would be the real risk to Zillow, is that it effectively is commoditized because ChatGPT or a different application can go pull the same information from MLSs all over the country. So what's the real value of Zillow? Does that increase or does it decrease if you're getting these answers through ChatGPT. But the other thing I was very interested in with this launch is this right here, the apps that are coming soon. And the three that I want to point out are DoorDash, Instacart, and Target. DoorDash and Instacart are currently aggregators, so this could potentially expand their market. It could also be disruptive to them long term. Target is in an interesting spot because I don't think we really think about them as a real digital company. So maybe this is an improved distribution source for them if you're just able to talk to ChatGPT and then put things in your Target cart and go pick it up. Maybe that is an advantage for them because they aren't the best digital company. But think about if you're doing your shopping on ChatGPT, where are you not shopping? You're not shopping on Amazon. And Amazon is going to be very interesting to watch because Amazon is one of the companies that does not allow these AI companies to crawl their site and pull their listings onto AI chatbots. One of the reasons is because Amazon wants you to go to the Amazon app or the Amazon website. Their power in the market is that people choose to go to Amazon. Maybe they're Prime members, maybe it's just the most convenient place to shop, but they're choosing to go to Amazon. So if the choice is now to go to ChatGPT and go with whichever supplier is going to give you the product you want for the price you want, that moves that point of power from Amazon to OpenAI. All very interesting strategic dynamics and things to watch. Because again, the point of power on the internet is who can aggregate that demand, who can pull that demand together. That's what OpenAI is trying to do with all these applications. It looks like a good deal for these application companies, but it may not always be. This is something I'm going to be covering depending on how this launch goes for OpenAI, because if this is popular, it could be good for some companies and it could be bad for others. But let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe to Asymmetric Investing. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you here next time.